In the Bible, of hashamayim, the birds of the skies, is usually used with the phrase behemat hasadeh, the beast of the field. When I translated these biblical Hebrew phrases into English, I added the word of, even though in the Hebrew there is no preposition. What Hebrew uses instead is a structure that we call a construct phrase. Hello, my name is Matthew, and this is Learn the Lingo. Welcome to the 10th episode of Reading the Hebrew Bible. Today, we're going to learn how construct phrases are formed and used in the Hebrew Bible. Every construct phrase has at least two words, which will go in the same order as an English phrase that uses of. Of, the birds, of hashamayim, the heavens or the skies. Likewise, behemat, the beast of hasadeh, the field. Note that in both these phrases, only the last word has the ha prefix that means the. In fact, it is only the last word in a construct phrase that can have the definite article or other marker of definiteness. If the last word has a definite article, every word in the phrase is automatically definite. So, of ha shamayim is the birds of the skies, and behemat ha sadeh is the beast of the field. If the last word of a construct phrase is not definite, the entire phrase will be indefinite. For example, Goliath wore gova nechoshet, a gova, a helmet of nechoshet, bronze. This phrase is not gova ha-nechoshet, just gova nechoshet, with no definite article. So it just means a bronze helmet. And this is not to say that the only way for a word to be definite is to have ha. There are actually three ways for a word to be definite. The first is the article ha, but the second is to have a possessive suffix, one that means my, his, or their, for example. Verse 7 of our chapter talks about Goliath's weapons, including chanito. Chanit means spear, and chanito, with the o ending, means his spear. That is a specific spear, a definite spear, because it belongs to somebody. So when we translate, it's chanito, we say the staff of his spear. It's refers to several things related to wood, firewood, a tree, or in this case, the wooden staff of a spear. Since the last word of the construct phrase, it's chanito, is definite, with the possessive suffix o, the whole phrase is definite. We don't say a staff of his spear, but the staff of his spear. The same with lahevet chanito, the lahevet, the tip of his spear. There will be a few contexts where you won't want to translate every word of a definite phrase with the, so as always, be flexible with interpretation. The final way a word can be definite in Hebrew is if it's a proper name. Bnei Yisrael is not just children of Israel, but the children of Israel. Yisrael is definite because it is a proper name. Now, the word for children in Bnei Yisrael is bnei. But when we say children by itself, it is banim. Why is there a different form when we put it in a construct phrase? Every word in a construct phrase, except the last one, is in construct form, as opposed to the regular form, called the absolute form. Banim is the absolute form, children, and bnei is the construct form, children of. With many words, the absolute form and the construct form are exactly the same. For example, of by itself in absolute form just means birds or fowl, but in of hashamayim, of is in construct form, birds of. Of, and most other simple one-syllable words with no special endings, are the same in absolute and construct form. It's, for example, is the same in absolute and construct form. Eitz by itself can mean wood or a tree, but in the construct phrase, eitz chanito, it means the wood of, the staff of, his spear. It is common for words that have two or more syllables to shorten a vowel or even get completely new vowels when in construct form. Davar means word. To say the word of the Lord, we say davar Adonai. The construct form of davar, word of, is davar, with the first vowel shortened. This phrase is definite, by the way, the word of the Lord, because it ends with a proper name, God's name. The word bayit means house. Whoever kills Goliath will have Beit Aviv be chofshi. Chofshi means free. In this context, exempt from royal levies. This phrase, Beit Aviv, is a construct phrase. The last word, aviv, is av, which means father, with a vav suffix that means his. Aviv, his father. Because of that suffix, this last word of the construct phrase is definite, and that makes the whole phrase definite. The Beit of his father. Beit is the construct form of bait. The I sound in the middle contracts to a. Bait, house. Beit, house of. Beit Aviv, the house of his father, will be free in Israel. So those are some examples of the vowels changing in the construct form of a word. There are two cases, two endings, that will change their letters when a word ending with them is put in construct form. The endings a and im. We've actually already seen this with behemat hasadeh, the beast of the field. Behemat is the construct form, beast of the noun behemah, beast. One change we can see is that the vowels have changed. As I said, that happens all the time with the construct form. But also, the a ending spelled with kamat and hey has changed to a patach and tav, an at ending, behemat. That is how we'll make the construct form of words ending with a. Behemah, beast, behemat hasadeh, the beast of the field. A very similar expression to behemat hasadeh is chayat haaretz. Chayat is the construct form of the word chaya, which means a living thing, often an animal. We've changed the a ending to at to make chayat, animal of. And when it's used in a collective sense, animals of. Chayat haaretz, the animals of the land, with the definite last word making the whole phrase definite. Let's see the other ending that changes, im. We saw that banim, children, changes to bnei, children of. The im ending, spelled with hirek, yod, and mem, will change to itzere and yod, from im to a. The a vowel in banim is also shortened in the construct form. Banim, bnei. Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel. Bnei Yishai, the sons of Yishai, of Jesse. Here's another example from verse 11 of our chapter. When Saul and the Israelites heard divrei haplishti ha'eleh, they were very afraid and dismayed. The construct phrase is divrei haplishti, and it has an adjective attached, eleh, these. The last word of the construct phrase, haplishti, the Philistine, is definite, so this will be the divrei of the Philistine. We can try to put divrei back into its absolute form by replacing the a ending with im. And with the necessary vowel changes, we can see divrei is the construct form of davarim, words. Davarim, words. Divrei, words of. Divrei haplishti, the words of the Philistine. Divrei haplishti ha'ele, these words of the Philistine. Ele has the definite article ha since it is an attributive adjective. That means it is directly attached to the phrase it describes, and so must match it in definiteness. The adjective ele describes plural words, so we know it describes divrei instead of haplishti, these words of the Philistine. Here's a similar phrase, efat hakali hazeh. Let's focus first on the construct phrase efat hakali. We know the at ending is used in the construct form of words that end with a in their absolute form. So efat means an ephah of. Ephah, or ephah, is a unit of measurement. Kali is usually spelled without the aleph. That's something you'll sometimes come across in Biblical Hebrew, an aleph added into a word. Kali is a kind of food, roasted or parched ears of grain. Efat kali, an ephah of roasted grain. Efat hakali hazeh, an ephah of this roasted grain. Notice how this time I put the adjective this from zeh before the last word of the phrase, roasted grain. An adjective attached to a construct phrase can describe either word, and we can use our knowledge of gender and number to tell which. Zeh describes masculine words. Kali is masculine, and efat is clearly not. Remember the a ending, at in construct form, is used with feminine nouns. That means zeh cannot describe the ephah, but must refer to the grain. So efat hakali hazeh is not this ephah of roasted grain, but an ephah of this roasted grain. Note that though this phrase is definite, I said an ephah of roasted grain. As I said, be flexible when translating phrases with Hebrew grammar into phrases with English grammar. The two are not the same. You'll be able to tell how the phrase would sound most natural in English. Here's one more construct phrase from our chapter. Beged machane pelishtim. This is a three-word construct phrase. The beged of the machane of the Philistines, pelishtim. Construct phrases can have as many words as necessary. You'll see some with 3 or 4 words in the Bible. Beged is a new word for us, and it's not a very common one. It means corpse. Here it's being used in a plural collective sense. So we'll say the corpses of the machane, the camp of the Philistines, pelishtim. Each noun belonging to the noun that comes after it. And that's all for today. In today's episode, we've come across a couple possessive suffixes that mean his, in chanito, his spear, and aviv, his father. Next time, we'll start learning how to use these suffixes with nouns as well as with prepositions.